Okay, so that's there. My speaker's plugged in.
This is my main caregiver for my husband. She's going to school, UAE.
And is the blue light on? There's blue. Okay, so the trick with the lavalier is you put it underneath the clothes. And I'm discovering with all my roll downs and rolls up, I keep hugging the microphone. And all right, the mic is hot and live.
And I've got all fresh pillowcases and everything to get you started. You said we're going to work on the today?
We're going to do the breathing today. I want to do a bit of a recap, and then we're going to be doing our breathing. And I want to pull out, I'm going to bring out the handout from last week and explain how breathing works too. So, with swinging arms, there's a number of different focuses with swinging arms. I've been teaching people, let's just shake the wrists out, relax the shoulders. And as time goes by, I'm going to have a different focus each month. So I did see the pelvic PT today, or the sports, my PT today, or my new PT, and figured out what's going on with the hip. And
so that's where you're going to use that time?
Yes, yes. And so I'm going to start using my legs a little bit more when we're doing these exercises. If you hear me jolt every now and then, don't worry, but it's part of the process. All right. Oh, hey, come into stillness. So the first thing we're going to do is have our feet hip width apart. Remember, you can find the inguinal groove or the outside of the hip, but then we're going to move to where the bone is and have that stacked right underneath the pelvis, so you don't want to be wider than that. You want to relax the tailbone. If you have a hard time relaxing the tailbone, what you can do is turn the heels out, and that helps, that disengages the glutes and allows the tailbone to drop down. And then you can bring the feet back in, and I can actually just, it makes me feel taller. If I turn the heels in, it pushes the femur up. So my back is relaxed, the femur's up, and then feet as if relax on railroad tracks, and then I can find that sweet spot where everything is stacked. All right, so we're going to do the simple straight roll down. So the first thing I'm going to do is just drop the chin. Feel how it opens up the neck nicely. And start to roll down the spine vertebrae by vertebrae, rounding back. Opening up the back. And you only need to go as far down. You're not trying to touch the toes, but just round the back, and I feel it stretch down into the sacrum. You take a moment just to hang, allow that to open. And then become aware of your sacrum. You can put your hand on that tailbone. And if you push on your tailbone just a little bit, that is where you start rolling up. So follow that tailbone, roll under, rolling up from the bottom, and up, and up. And as you come up, you want to roll so the palms are out. Lift the chest, lift the chin. And this is your counter stretch. And back forward again. And I had locked my knees just for a second when I was doing that counter stretch, and then for sure to soften the knees again. And I'm going to drop the tailbone. And now the same thing, drop the chin. Rolling down. And ironically, this was part of my assessment. She goes, do you know how to roll down your spine? Rounding at the back, soften the shoulders, and then to roll up, feel where your tailbone is, pushing that towards the earth, so that start the roll up from the base of the spine, rolling up, get the full articulation all the way through. lower lumbar down to the sacral open. And then start with the sacrum, start to roll up. Letting the neck be heavy. Going through the spine. And the chin, touch the chest. And feel a nice stretch here because you want to feel a nice stretch across the pectoralis. Lifting the chin is going to stretch and open up the fascia and the clavicle up to the chin. Some of you have been around, I see you opening up your jaws. That opens up my eustachian tubes. And back to center. Yes, because everything goes all the way through. Now we're going to do the roll with the rib cage. So let's take things forward. Drop the palms so they're facing the back. And I use the arms just to get you oriented. And you're going to turn to the side. Right now I'm starting with my left. And I feel it open up through the ribs all the way down. And then I start to roll up. So I can actually feel the attachments from the top of my pelvis, through the ribs, up through the arms. But rolling up that entire side, the arm's going to come up by the head. Don't even lay it here. Judy, next time I do this, here, let me see. Yep. Here we go, I'll turn this way. So now we're mimicking each other. Come this out to the side. Now, this side bending here is something else that they'll do as part of the PT therapy, is can you lean to the side like this. It all opens up the ribs all the way through, coming down, feeling areas where it's getting stuck. You can hang out and allow it to open. And reach, notice how the hands are side to side. Now I started to the left, so this time I'm going to turn to the right, and that will keep you even. Because you go down one direction and then you come up the other direction. And now start to come up. And Judy, we're going to mirror each other. Yep, you're doing good. I'm just doing this so you can follow along. You want to keep this arm a little bit more relaxed for a little bit longer. And there's a point when you will start to feel a natural pull for it to come up. I got a nice pop right there. And I let it do this, what I call comb the hair motion. And that opens up the shoulder nicely. Then reaching straight up, this hand I like to trace down my side of the leg. And I was opening up the ribs, coming down, coming down. And back to center. And now to conclude, we're going to roll up the spine. So I just let the tailbone tuck under. Rolling up, rolling up, rolling up. Now we're going to do a different counter stretch than this one. The other counter stretch is take a casual step forward, not face this way, so you can mimic Judy. You will recognize this one. And it's a psoas stretch. So I'm going to stretch to the arch of the foot, feel it through the inside leg, push this forward, it will stretch open the pelvis. Now lift the chest, there's your extension, and lift the chin. And coming back down, bounce on the legs, stepping back, stepping forward. And I felt through the arch of the foot, through the big toe. So you're getting a nice stretch through your plantar fasciitis. Push the pelvis forward. Lift the chest, lift the chin. And back down. Okay, now the other spinal roll I've been doing was this one. And I'm just going to emphasize one part of it because I've been doing this compare and contrast all month. When you do this, I'm going to say just go into the position without the breath. But when the palms are touching, about right here. And what you're going to feel is it really stretches open the scapula just by having the palms touching and having that be the emphasis. So inhale, come up. And take a moment and just feel how it will round and open up the space in between the scapulas. And then just roll out. So just coming up. And then open up the palms to the side. Do the careful stretch. So notice how that got all the different aspects of your back. Really nice. Now we're going to just do a quick arm stretch. That it's been a while since I've taught this. And then a quick hamstring stretch, and then we're going to be laying down. So this is gaze of the tiger. You know gaze of the tiger?
Yeah, I was just feeling like when we do this,
You're
you're doing tiger eyes.
It's almost. The difference with this one is the arms are straight. Gaze the tiger is you bend the elbows and you bring the elbows back. And I'll turn this one for the camera. You bring the elbows straight back here. I'll turn this side here. What you're doing is called winging the scapula. So when the palms are this way, I feel it more up here, but when you keep the arms bent and straight back, you're going to feel it, yep, right in there, which is different. So the only cautions I have, I don't see either of you doing it, I've seen people do it and they'll do this. So you got to make sure, I'll have this concept of a little bit of weight on the elbows to push it down and back. And they say, see if you can get your wrists behind your pelvis. And what I notice is then that sometimes people start to straighten their arms. But you need to have this aspect, which is a stretch we will do to people massage. Now the other concept is to make this stretch effective is some people wing their elbows up this way. So if you do that, see how you lose the stretch. So the more the elbows are pointed straight back, the better it is. Now, to bring this into the neck, turn the neck at the same time. And you can feel how that stretches the attachments from the base, you know, that shoulder-neck connection. And then if you open the eyes wide in the jaw, and back to center, you gotta relax that for a second. So let's just focus on those two elements and turn the other direction. So here and turn. Open the eyes wide and jaw. So if you can get just that, now the next concept is if you can get the hands involved. So here's, it's common to flex the wrist because you're going to be stretching the tendons in here. Is that too much for you? Okay. And then make tiger claws with it. See how that stretches your hands. Can you feel that just that? Hands straight versus making claws. So if you can flex the wrists, curl the fingers, bend the elbows, and take it straight back, you're getting a multi-stretch, and then turn the head, and back to center. Now, gaze of the tiger is you're going to do this, which is your rippling pond, if you look at it, which will smooth the energy out and bring the blood flow back. So, this is the restorative, whereas that is the stretch and purge. Now the scoop, I picked this up from Dr. Wong in the yoga class. If you bring the elbows in, can you feel how you stretch the inside now of the arms? If you bring the elbows in. Yes, right in there. So I'll bring them in to stretch this side. And even if I bring, I'm looking at this right underneath my breast, I can even feel it stretch the inside of my arms a little bit and inside here. And then I'll turn, curl the fingers, flex the wrists, bend the elbows. You want to feel it wing between the scapula, through the wrist. And the mirror, you got it, but see if you can, you're up. I'm just going to, yep, there. Mm-hmm. That's good.
I feel like I'm arching my back too.
That should be fine, because this is, you're doing that extension of the spine. You're supposed to try to get that open.
Okay.
That's appropriate. And then release, make nice sense. And scoop. And release. Now, is that a more thorough explanation of
Yes.
gaze of the tiger for you? So, one last, that was the arm stretch. Now I want to do hamstrings. I've been doing them for a while. So it turns out, this right here on me, on my right side, is not working. So my hamstring is always sore because it's carrying all the load. So, the hamstring stretch, and you will recognize this piece from Reaching for Heaven and Earth. Hip hinge forward, you push the buttocks back, and you actually want to keep the knees straight because you want to feel it down the back of the legs. Do you feel that stretch? And you can put your hands just over your knees and look forward. Now, the next part of the stretch, lift the toes. And you should start to feel those attachments going all the way down the back of the legs. I feel it in the back of my knees, I feel it in my calves, and I feel it in my hamstrings.
And I feel it here.
It will go all the way up, but this is how you stretch the back of those legs. And release the toes. Now the other thing you do in this forward position is pivot the heel out, and I do this very carefully because that's what my body doesn't want to do. It's that heel going out. That will spread the buttocks apart, and you still have that hip hinge, and you look forward. That opens up this is good for sciatica. It opens up the space where the sciatic nerve flows. So the heel's turned out.
Both heels?
Yep.
Oh.
I have to be careful because my right, I have to ease into that one. And the more I'm going to turn, if I can a little bit more, that, you see, I can feel that in there. You feel how that's different than like straight. It disengages those hamstrings. It's going to be stretching you differently. All right, forward, and you can just roll up, and then just get the bottom of our feet. If you've got good balance, you can do both feet. If you don't, you could just do one at a time. But it's just the concept to open up that ankle a bit. And not just the ankle, but again that plantar fascia. Help to articulate the toes. So if you got good balance, all you're doing 2 feet, that's great. But if you don't, this is also fine. Let's reach up, pull down the heavens. All right. Simple, easy warm-up that you can do in the morning. You're going to get the hamstrings. You're going to get your feet. If you turn the heels out, you stretch and open up the area of the buttocks, sciatic nerve. Rolling up and down the spine, you get the ribs, and you stretch through the arms and your neck and all the way up here. So that's a full body stretch, plus all the counter stretches. And really, they're all mixing and matching from the different Qigongs we've done. So what I'm going to work on this month is getting that typed up, and then you'll be able to see the different applications of them. We're going to do breathing today. I wanted you to feel your breath. So I had a short one where we could do it sitting, but for mom's sake, and quite frankly, it's enjoyable if we lay down. So I'm going to have all of you, Mom, where are the pillows at? Let's have everyone lay down, and I'm going to set myself up in a chair. I'm going to walk you through the breathing. You weren't here for the last time we did breathing.
Oh, here we are.
Okay, so you get a pillow, you get to lay down. And I'm going to walk you through it. And then I'm going to teach you guys some anatomy and physiology. Do this, because I'm going to sit in a chair. So you're going to lay down in a comfortable position. If you have a pillow under your knees, it relaxes the low back, and you don't have to use muscles to hold your knees up. I was just looking around to see if there's any
Well,
more.
There's
So-
a pillow there.
And then, Mom, do you want to get one of your personal pillows?
Yeah, I got
Let's
one.
do that. And does anyone feel like you're going to get cold and need a blanket since you're holding still for this bit? Okay.
Maybe I'll just put my shirt on, I'll be fine.
All right, so one for your knees. So there's a number of different ways you can do meditation, breathing.
So you're supposed to have your legs straight.
For this one, yes. When your knees are bent, I've done breathing with the knees bent a lot. And yoga will do both legs straight, knees bent. The difference is when the knees are bent, you have to use muscles to hold them up. One way yoga tries to bypass that is they'll wrap the belt around the knees so they can fall out. And you have this belt helping support holding your legs up, which is nice. Having something underneath your knees, just like if you're getting a massage, is nice because it takes the sway out of your back, or helps with that. But what I mostly want you to do is feel supported and comfortable. And so, Judy, do you need another pillow for your head? Or are you just trying to
I'm
look at
trying
me?
to look at you.
So you can hear me better, is my guess? Let me try it. I'll turn to this side so you don't have to look up so direct. But for this, you're going to be closing your eyes a lot, just feeling and breathing. And I will speak loud enough. Now you should be able to hear me okay. Just double checking here. So I need to get out of my lecture voice and into my meditation voice. So just become aware of your body laying on the floor and see if there's any last shifting you need to do to help you feel comfortable. For this breathing is be comfortable so you can just focus on your breath. Ask yourself if you're going to be warm. Too much temperature, differentiation. And the first thing I do when I start this meditation is become aware of my breath. What is my breathing currently doing? So right now, everyone's hands are close to their abdomen. I want you to go ahead and put your hands on your abdomen. And take some slow, deep breaths. And as you inhale, I want you to feel your hands move. On the inhale, feel your hands sink. On the exhale. And when I say have your hands in your abdomen, everyone here is doing it correctly. But I'll say the words as they would be beneath the belly button. Some people have their hands up high. You all have them correct beneath the belly button. You want to feel yourself breathe to beneath the belly button. Working on just connecting with that part of your body. And the next step to breathing is we're going to start to slow it to a 5. So inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for a moment. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Exhaling. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Now continue with that counting of that breathing. I'm going to explain a principle. When you hold, I used to hold my breath and freeze and tense my body. That's not what's going on. As you inhale, on that hold, which is really a pause, you pause and you imagine that that breath is infusing into your body and into the cells and it's warm. And then the exhale, you allow everything to soften and empty in that pause, full state of rest. As you inhale to the 5 count, absorbing everything that you just inhaled. And exhale. Imagine all the muscles and body coming to a complete rest. Inhaling. Feeling your body full of breath, full of life, full of warmth. And exhale. And continue. So even with the pauses, there's no tension. It's this enjoyment, being totally full and warm, and exhaling and fully relaxing. Now, as you continue to breathe, I want you to become aware of your low back. And as you inhale, I want you to feel the low back expand and press into the earth. You don't need to tense any muscles for this, but it's just that your inhalation is happening front and back. And if those back muscles or the lungs in the back are truly moving, you should feel it touch the ground. Or a little bit of feedback. Now, I'll be honest with you, if your knees are bent, it's easier to feel. I just want you to be comfortable, but just that feeling of the back is moving. As the abdomen in the front inhales, the back is also going to expand. And it doesn't move as much as the front, but there is a slight movement there. As close to the ground, you can usually sense, or even feel that it's going to be brushing against the carpet just a little bit. Inhaling, feeling yourself expand, front and back. Lower abdomen. Go ahead and slide them out just a couple of inches and with the can up. Now I want you to become aware of the ribs on your side, those floating ribs in that area. As you inhale, not only should your abdomen and your back be moving front to back on the inhale, and both of them will be softening on the exhale. But the ribs on either side should be flaring out. You should be able to feel that motion of the ribs expanding side to side. So on the inhale, you actually have an expansion. Front, back, left, and right. explanation, the metaphor that's given, is that it's like an inner tube or balloon as you inhale. All areas, front, back, left, right, expand. Exhale. Front, back, left, right, relax. Now we're going to add another element, the pelvic floor. If you've done Pilates or Kegels before, you want it to be a very gentle pulling up on the pelvic floor, a very gentle Kegel. And you're going to choose the center spot, so a vaginal Kegel, there's anal Kegels, there's urinary Kegels, so you're going to be right in the center. And very gentle pull up. The metaphor I was giving is like the same effort as closing an eyelid. It's very soft. It's not this hard, tense. Just see, as you inhale, gently pull up. Which they would call reverse breathing because you're doing a gentle pull up at the same time as the abdomen is expanding front, back. Well, it doesn't push down. You have a pull up, so it's like putting a cork in the bottom as the rest bellows out. So Pilates will use that to gently strengthen the pelvic floor and hold it in place as you breathe. In order to medicine that center Kegel, there's an acupressure point there. And it's also where the energies join because it flows down the spine and then up the front. If you pull up there, then you're sealing up the energy. And in traditional Western medicine, they say that if you're not pulling up, that energy is actually leaking out of you. So they'll say, pull up, close that area. Western medicine, you're gently strengthening that pelvic floor. If you do a hard Kegel, you start to engage other muscles. So just very gentle. Open up, expanding, absorbing. Continue. Now the only time the Kegel would be contraindicated is if you already have some kind of chronic tension there. I was reading cases of this in endometriosis, is that people can start clenching so hard in the area that they actually even practice doing the opposite. So if that is an area that needs to be strengthened, it's okay, but if there's a chronic disease and your body has tense to try and hold yourself together, then that's the time you want to relax. And then for a final act, you can rest the tip of the tongue at the roof of the mouth, right behind the teeth. It's an oriental medicine to close the energy. But I also just notice it changes the way I breathe. It's actually easier for me to breathe through my nose if the tip of the tongue is at the roof of my mouth right behind my teeth. Soften your face and allow a gentle smile. Because when you're smiling, that's going to signal the whole body to relax. It doesn't need to be a big smile, but that soft half smile. conclusion of your last breath, you slowly start to come to external awareness by opening up your eyes. You start to become, you're turning to what's called a normal breathing or a tidal breathing, which will have a slightly different flow to it. We'll talk about tidal breathing a little bit today. And when you're ready, you don't immediately try to sit up. What you do is actually exactly what my mom was doing is, first thing is you just roll to the side. In that nice fetal position. And that just helps the body to wake up and to lay there comfortably. Now, one reason why I think this gently wakes me up is the blood has pooled all towards my back, basically, or pooled in the organs a certain way. And when I turn to the side, it shifts all the organs, and they hang differently. And that's just enough sensation that it gives my nervous system some feedback. It's like, oh, I'm starting to wake up now. I'm starting to move. And then when you're ready from there, what's taught in yoga is you gently push yourself up to sitting. And as you do that, allow your neck to stay relaxed. So again, you don't tense your back up. Then you push yourself up, and you allow the body to stay nice and relaxed. That feeling of support from the ground as you come to sitting. And we're going to do a circle and sit in chairs, and I'm going to talk to you for a bit. So I'll bring you both a chair. Let's put this one over here.
I forgot to bring that paper.
I am just going over the pictures, so I will hold up the pictures, and it's no big deal.
Still wanting to get up with my knee.
Ah, yes. Just bring this in a little bit more. And I'm going to show you guys a nice trick with this lying posture here. And ideally, I'd be able to get all the way behind Mom. Move to be treated. But remember how we worked on the sacrum and had to put our hands on the sacrum? Like so, so the heel of the hand, and it can curl down. But this is something we'll do in, we did a myofascial, so I don't know, some things overlap, myofascial, craniosacral. But this holding, look at this hold, and I'm going to say not much of a stretch, but this connection between the two. At the same time, it is kind of stretch. If you bring your knees up a little bit more, what it is the rounding that we do when we're rolling up the spine, she's doing right here. There's the spinal flexion, and we'd have a therapist come over and actually hold here and here and give a little bit of traction down here just to help elongate this open. It's not nice to have your head pushed, so it's a little bit more cradling support. But we would just sit here and hold our flank for 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I know it's hard to maybe find someone at home that will do this for you, but if you put yourself in this position and bring the knees up until you can feel the spine elongate, and then get yourself to a position, you can then allow that spinal curvature to settle in. And it's just supposed to be a very nourishing fetal position. So.
No, I can't see my husband wanting to do it.
Yeah. But, remind me, it's one of those, I don't want to say it's not one of those therapeutic positions, because it is therapeutic, because it's a nourishing position, but it's not me going in there like moving a bunch of tissue and stuff. That is one that is comforting to the nervous system. It's a restorative move. So can I have everyone just scoot in just a bit? Because I'm going to, lesson. You've got your pictures? Okay. But I'm going to be flipping the pictures. So for today, I've gotten it down to a checklist, just so you remember what we did today. Real quick. And I will write up a description of the gaze of the tiger for you guys and the hamstring stretch. But everything else, I've already given you guys multiple descriptions and played with the words. Mm-hmm. And again, my goal for the end of the month is to have all this in the format I want and at least the preliminary pictures or video to match these. That then would have a little 2-minute clips that would be on the internet. So that's where I'm going with it. So that's what I did today. Any questions or comments or feedback from the stretches that we did first? The roll up, the roll down.
When we're going to the side,
yes.
We're not rolling the pelvis, right? Just the shoulders?
The intent is the ribs.
Okay.
So I'm holding the pelvis stationary but I will feel it down and I will feel the attachments along the top of the pelvis, the crest here, because I'm going to feel it from here to here. So, but no, I'm not turning the waist or anything like that.
My pelvis wants to make it easier and turn. So
right, and you want to hold that in place to get that stretch.
Yeah.
And that's where you want to open it up. And at the same time, though, the shoulders can move independent of the ribs too. So it's, I always use the hands as orientation, but the truth is I could go like this and not move my torso. So the intent is that you're looking for the ribs and the torso, and especially this thoracic area, thoracic cavity. By chance, did anyone watch any of the videos I sent?
I did.
You did?
Well, no, I didn't watch the extra ones. I just
Yeah.
watched the copy of last week.
Oh, the copy of last
Yeah.
week. Okay. The extra ones are great because it's going to show you what the diaphragm looks like. And there's one that's I think just a 10-minute video, but it's going to show you all the bones in the thoracic cavity and how all the ribs attach. So I got everything down in as much layman's terms as I could. But let me go over the pictures. You guys know I used to teach physiology?
Yes.
Yeah, I taught physiology in the massage school.
I remember.
Why?
Because you're always coming over here
Uh-huh.
and telling me all about physiology. And Darcy's a little tutor goes,
He picks up all kinds of fun stuff.
yeah.
Okay, so actually before I do the pictures,
And he does the videos. You must have been a surgeon just
he does.
You're only 2. Oh my goodness.
That's right. Oh, I'm sorry. Now I'm having flashbacks because all the videos I'm sending you guys, I know where they are because I used to show them to my physiology class. And Darshan would sit on my lap
Yeah.
from the time he was breastfeeding, which was 0 to 2, and watch them with me while he was breastfeeding. So he was always doing this stuff. So, oh, jeez, Louise. Mechanisms of breathing, which is actually page 5. So I'm going back a little bit. So let me read page 5. Because this is, I'm going to get into my physiology voice. This is so cool. And you don't need to understand all of it, but understanding the basic mechanisms is great. And then you understand why both the spinal rolls and the breathing are so good for you. So in order, when you breathe, or before you inhale, it has to do with air pressure. The pressure on the outside of your body and the pressure on the inside are the same. Okay.
Where are you going?
Oh, I'm not even going to go there. Step 2, the external intercostal muscles between the rib cage contract, lifting the lower ribs up and out, creating a vacuum that expands the lungs. So the external intercostals, I'm going to show you, this is page 7. The intercostals are all the muscles that go in between each of the ribs. And so they actually, when they contract, that's when you should be feeling the sides of your ribs move. And what I have found over the years as a massage therapist is if people are chest breathers, this area can start to become frozen. Another reason why this area can start to become frozen is, oh, my skiers that hit a tree on the way down and they have some scar tissue here, or those tight girdles, or those flat, you know, I had, there's definitely, actually the corsets are just downright horrible because they actually then start to, I've seen pictures how they change the shape of the ribs and stuff. Opera singers, I've met people who fly commercial airlines for a living, and their lungs are actually rounded and more expanded. But if you put your hands, you're not doing the deep breathing now. If you put your hands really hard here, inhale, you should feel those ribs move side to side. So that side rolling, the intent is to separate each of those ribs open. Because around muscles is something called fascia. Fascia is the saran wrap. Fascia gets sticky. And when things aren't movable then, or start to stick together, then those ribs start to flare out. And then you're decreasing your lung capacity there. So when you're stretching on the side, you're like, oh, that feels, it's not quite like a burning ripping, but you'll feel this kind of stuckness that needs to be stretched. That's the fascia sensation you're getting.
So it's on the muscle. It's around the muscle.
Yes, you've taken chicken apart, right? Okay, taken the skin off the chicken, that filmy, slimy stuff, that's it. And then if you cut the muscle, if you were to cut the chicken and look at